Good afternoon. My topic is Fest the Clown in his narration of the hypocrisies and horror of humanity in Twelfth Night, or what you will. Before I begin my explanation of my topic, I want to give you a basic layout of my paper. Of course, I begin with my thesis, and then I dive straight into Fest as narrator, disguised, non-essential, and therefore able to speak freely and address the audience as he wishes. I then go into his friends as terrible people, minor characters, Malvolio's descent, Shakespeare using ailments as satire and comedy within his tragedy. I dive into the similarities between King Lear and Twelfth Night, and I finish with my conclusion, which is just a reiterating of my thesis and a summarizing of my supportive evidence, including a stark note on the relationship between the play from the 1600s to today. Though he is not a major character relative to the main characters, Fest, Fool, or Clown is quite an impressive character Shakespeare produced, who openly critiques society in an undertone within the play that is subtle enough to pass as humor. But with a keen eye and a critical outlook, one can see Fest's lines as devices to critique the play on the audience as it takes place. Fest's lines, though written in the very early 1600s, are still morbidly accurate in describing present-day failures of humanity. With humor and sincerity, Fest acknowledges the hypocrisies of our characters in Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, or what you will, and addresses the horrors and indignations of humanity, both from the 1600s and today. Fest, however, is not the only clown in Shakespeare's stories who confronts the problematic actions and issues of human behavior. Clown, unnamed besides Fool in the tragedy of King Lear, also dramatically breaks the fourth wall to inform the audience of the negatives of human behavior. Though I will focus more heavily on Fest, both clowns narrate their respective stories, allude to outside happenings, confront characters and audiences, and foreshadow events in their plays, and point out the horrors and hypocrisies of sick human nature. I explore Fest's dark comedy in this frivolous party world, especially by considering the behavior of who we deem as subsequent characters of Twelfth Night, such as Aguecheek, Sir Toby Belch, and Maria. I analyze Fest's interactions with these characters and their detestable, drunken, ill-mannered behavior against Malvolio. Focusing heavily on these characters, especially focusing upon Malvolio's descent into madness due to his unkindness of others and his character arc of being someone the audience at first dislikes due to his strictness, then turning into someone with whom we empathize. I also analyze Fest's consideration of the large story at hand, Viola and Cesario's, Olivia and Orsino's, and Sebastian and Antonio's plotlines. I address his position as narrator of the story and his foreshadowing of later events in the play, considering the lines I discussed in class from Act 2, Scene 3. Clown says, "What is love? 'Tis not hereafter. Present mirth hath present laughter. What's to come is still unsure. In delay there lies no plenty. Then come kiss me sweet and 20. Youth's a stuff will not endure." Second, and more importantly, I want to focus a larger portion of my argument on this small speech from Clown near the end of the play, where I believe he sums up the moral of the story, from Act 5, Scene 1. Clown says, "Truly, sir, the better for my foes, and the worse for my friends." Duke, "Just the contrary, the better for thy friends." Clown, "No, sir, the worse." Duke, "How can that be?" Clown, "Marry, sir, they praise me and make an ass of me. Now my foes tell me plainly I am an ass, so that by my foes, sir, I profit in knowledge of myself, and by my friends I am abused, so that conclusions to be as kisses. If your 4 negatives make your 2 affirmatives, why then for the worse my friends and the better for my foes." As I have previously stated, the most interesting thing in this play to me is that there are not necessarily any succinctly evil characters. We begin the play by disliking Malvolio because he, as you might say, sucks the life out of the party in the city of revelry. But we end the play feeling bad for him because he did nothing wrong at all. He was simply devout to Olivia and simply excited for her interest in him. The frivolous, drunken characters, Toby, Aguecheek, and Fabian, along with Olivia's gentlewoman Maria, plot against this innocent, simply sober man and turn his world upside down for a prank, for some laughs. This utopia of fun and drinking and laying waste to life through reveling in a drunken stupor causes intense grief for a simple man. Underneath the veil of this comedic play, Shakespeare is addressing serious issues. Not only is he addressing alcoholism, but he is also addressing the lack of work ethic as seen by the Duke's sexual nature overtaking his desire to work, the lack of an honest society displayed through Viola's hiding in plain sight and unintentionally tricking Olivia into puppy love, and the lack of support for those who are in need, displayed by everyone ignoring everyone's problems throughout the story. Clown is the most interesting character in this play in my opinion, as he offers a stark reality through comedic lines. Though he brings laughs to his friends, foes, and the audience, he is also bringing up the issues of drunkenness causing drowning and stupidity early on in the play. He offers valuable insight into the staunch reality of madness and the fake appearance of people who are considered to be your friends and end up deserving the worst, as Fest mentions. This concept is most valuable to me and will be discussed with the most vigor by me. In the section pasted above from Act 5, Clown tells the Duke that he is made to be an ass by his friends as they laugh at him and use him as their entertainment, while his enemies will tell him honestly that he is an ass if that's the case and be done with it. Though they are his enemies, or at least folks who are just not his friends, they don't use him as their entertainment. These words he speaks to the Duke become an emotionally touching piece of advice to all of the audience throughout all of time. If your friends cannot provide you with dignity, humility, and respect, they are not good and deserving friends. An honest foe who treats you with dignity is more deserving than those who turn you into their drunken drama show. I also addressed the section of Fest lines from Act 5, relating them to the clowns from the tragedy of King Lear, as that clown says something remarkably similar. Clown singing, "A great while ago the world's begun, with hey-ho, the wind and the rain. But that's all one, our play is done, and we'll strive to please you every day." I assessed this last set of lines in the play, which are from the clown's musical appearances. I make sense of the whole thing more in depth, but I especially liked this line, "and will strive to please you every day." Despite the heavy topics hidden throughout the play, this line brings a sense of greater ease to what we call a comedy, though at times it feels like a sad play. Fest is telling the audience that Shakespeare was using these lovesick, ill, fickle people as a primary source of easy entertainment. Considering the seriousness of the disease, according to Carol Thomas Neely's article that we read in class, it seems odd to me to make light of the whole situation. Like all the pain of the world is expressed in a play for our enjoyment. I question if this is a way to make light of a dark world or to make fun of a silly disease. As I mentioned in that week of discussion, I have been preoccupied with the death of my cousin, who was a dear friend of mine, and as an enthusiast of Shakespeare, he would have deeply questioned Fest's final lines of the play in consideration of the flawed and diseased world we live in. To honor my friend, I explore this question of whether Fest was trying to be purely comedic or trying to remind us of how horrible things can be, yet we treat people as a laughingstock instead of trying to help them. First of all, thank you for listening. I think this topic is interesting because it's still applicable today regarding the perception of revelry and hypocrisy. As I began my research for this project, I had a solid opinion about how horrible most of these characters were, and I was steadfast in my belief that it was only these characters that I would analyze. But after conducting some research, I found that each character had some sort of flaw, and my opinions became more rounded out ideas that could truly become critical analysis. I want to lay this out for all of you because I know how sometimes our opinions turn into something we feel is concrete, and it is hard to change our mind once or open it to new ideas and perspectives. But once we have this expansion of knowledge and can add on, develop, or change our opinions, I feel like we can achieve academic integrity and greatness. It has been amazing to see all of your responses this semester, all of your brilliant, gleaming, or dark ideas. You have all given me insight on each topic we've discussed, and I thank you all for being part of our journeys to academic excellence with this rigorous changing of our minds. That concludes my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it.